my, and this one here is a number 8. Of course, again, it's probably like a number 2, and again, it's a little flat. I love using the flats, and I kind of dip it into the, now we need to make reflections, okay? We've got these little mountains in here, and let me show you how to make reflections in your water. If you take your paintbrush, and let's just say, okay, here's the edge of our water line here. Alright, you've got a tree line here, and that tree line, you measure from the bottom. Okay, let's go up to this one here. Okay, from the bottom of the land here, this land here, to the top of that tree. Okay, mark your brush. Okay, so it's right about there. Makes sense? Come to the end. Alright, you want to take and move it down here, and this is as far down as you want that tree. You want that tree to be, so we're going to take a little bit of the, just make a little bit of here, like this, along it. We want to do this all over here. Just a little bit here. Alright, we're just making reflections, okay? Just some things like that along the water's edge. Since all this stuff is so far away, there's we can't put too much going on back there because we'll never see it. But I'm gonna put some little trees here on the peninsula. So I'm gonna go back into my phthalo green. That phthalo green is remember, phthalo green's got a lot of blue into it. So I like to add just a little green. A little yellow to that. Okay, so it'll be a nice green. Okay, and so you want to actually making these evergreen trees. You want to kind of, make them realistic, so as realistic as you can. Alright, now I'm going to make just some little bushes, and you just kind of like scumbling. Just remember now we're going to add little layers to these and I'm going to establish where my sun's coming from, which way the sun's shining down on it. And I think I'll have the sun coming in this way, coming down this way. So, which means this side's going to be a little darker than this side. I want to start adding a light layer of grass over here. This here, I forgot about this one. This is it's old, but it's awesome. I love this brush. This was a Bob Ross brush. It's my rigger brush, and I love using this to make the trees. And basically what I do with that, I put a lot of medium in it, and I'm going to put the medium in my mixture here. You want it really, really, really wet here. And you want to just keep using that brush. Loading that brush up, and then roll it, and then kind of just, as you come off the edge of it, just kind of taper off on it. And when you use this, you can actually make the coolest tree limbs. Make sure if it's not coming off, you need to add a little bit more medium to it. I love to paint trees, to make trees, so especially with my rigger brush. Make little limbs to come off of it. And we're going to add leaves to this also, so it's not just going to be this, just the limbs. Okay, and add as many as you want. You know, that's completely up to you. You can take and add some more down here, just coming up. Little trees here and little trees here. A little more medium to that. It's up to you how many trees you want, because again, this is gonna, we add these little the leaves to it and everything. We're going to cover up a lot of this background, but it's at least it's there. You know, we see it. Put another tree here. This is like an old gnarly tree here. The bottom part to be a little fatter than the rest of the tree. This one's coming off here. Don't forget to have your little tree, your little branches coming off on the side too now, guys. It's fun. I love my rigger brush is just like best thing. Anyway, so here we got quite a bit of trees. Going here, I'm going to take and put a, you can add some little things coming up through here like this. And we'll put some little branches onto the edge of these here. I mean some little leaves and things on it though. Now we don't have one coming out here. So you want to make sure that this, the consistency when you're making these little trees is real soupy. So make sure you keep adding the medium, a little bit of color to it, and keep adding the, making it just as soupy as you can stand it, okay? And it's, you know, the more soupier, the thinner your lines will be, but just don't make it so soupy you no longer see it. So anyway, here I'm going to make this just a little fatter through here since I'm going to make this tree larger. And basically you just want to drag it up, like if you can see right here on this, what I'm doing is just pretty much just dragging it up like this. And the lighter you go, the thinner the line gets. I like that one just like that, so we'll leave that right there. Anyway, so yeah, you can make little different things with this liner brush. Look how thin that is, just really thin. And you can use pretty much anything you want to use. I mean, any color as far as here. Let's look at this right here, this yellow, this really pretty yellow. And you can just, little tiny thing, thin strokes. I got too much on that. I've got to just add a little more medium to that. It's actually too thick. The strokes are too thick. There we go. So a little bit more there. So anyway, just as you go along. And also, if you remember here, see this green here, this dark green? We got to add that same reflection back here. So let's just come around here, do this right here. go. Now then, we're going to add some, we're almost finished with this painting, so we're going to start adding some little leaves and everything onto this. And I think I'll add just a little bit more over here, a little bit lighter. I think we said the light's coming in from this way. So I do want to make this a lot lighter green over here. So I'm going to go over here and go into this. And I'm just going to do add just some little patches here underneath here. Just add little patches of green grass here. Just barely a little bit of blue up there, just to make that a really pretty green. See how that adds a little texture underneath that? You can go as light as you want on this. We'll make this a little lighter over here, but not as light as this over here. You want it to blend, but and again, we'll make some shadows here underneath these trees and things, so it'll. Now, as we get into bigger paintings, bigger canvases and everything, we're going to add a lot of different things. I told you this or not, probably I didn't, but make sure that you clean your brushes. You don't want to have to go buy another set of brushes. It's the last thing you want to do, okay? Because these brushes can get expensive after a while. You'll be able to see more detail in the stuff, the things that we paint. Okay, so now that we've got that done, okay, here's my fan brush I'm going to use. But I got me a little scumbling brush here. It's just worn down to where it's real fuzzy all over it. So I really love to use something like this. It's just a little small. It's a number 6. And basically what it was a bright at one time, and then I just scuffed it down to that. So I really love using that. And what I like to do is let me put a little medium on my brush to wake it up. Now we want to add the darks first. Okay, and we're going to take this just really light and just scumble over it. Just barely. You'll see what I'm doing here. Don't hide, don't put too much in there. Don't hide your tree trunks. You want the light, and you want the these little branches. Because now what you're going to do is add some highlight to these. And all I'm doing is just tapping lightly on it. Don't go all over it, because then you can't, it looks like just a fuzzy balls out here. You don't want that. So go as light. First, when you first start doing this, just barely put it on there. My first painting lesson was watching Bob Ross paint. And he taught me, watching his videos taught me quite a bit. And, if you like working with big paint brushes and things like that, then, by all means, watch some of his videos. Now I'm going to go just a little darker on this because it's not showing up, as you can see here. Let's darken. I'm just going to darken it just a little bit, and I'm going back into that brownish green that I've got. Just add in a little bit more of the dark. Not too much now. These little bushes over here, they definitely need it. You can actually go a little darker than that if you want to add more of that phthalo blue to it. I really just love to paint. This is just so very relaxing. And I hope you're enjoying this video, and I hope you'll watch all my other videos, and please subscribe. That way I can, you know, everyone needs a little bit of encouragement. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and I promise you, you know, we'll always make it entertaining, something. It'll always be a little entertaining, a little more entertaining as we go along. Just going to add some of this little stuff here. Okay. I'm going to clean my brush out. Okay. I thought I was going to use that fan brush, but I don't think so. I think we're doing better with this right here. So now what I'm going to do is take this same green that I've got here, and I'm going to add a little mixture of that yellow to that. Okay, so we established the lights coming, this way. So I'm just going to, on these right here, I'm just going to barely add just a little bit over here. Okay. Want it more or less on that right side of that tree. Maybe there's a little bit hitting this side here, over here. Just a little bit of sunlight hitting those. Okay, now I'm going to add a little white to that mixture. And then I'm going to go even lighter still. Now be careful with it, it'll smudge in this. Remember, this is that white on, that wet on wet technique, so, you know, you don't want it to smudge and just not look too good anyway. I'm going to put a little light over here on this. A little light more in my bushes. You can do whatever you want to, but just, I think this is just really makes it pop. Okay, and you know, you can still take that mixture because it's so light and just kind of play around with it. Just put you some little flowers, you know. You know, these just looks like little flowers that maybe trying to come to light here underneath these trees. You can keep adding whatever you want to add to it. You know, this is your painting, completely up to you. Whatever you want to do. If you want to add a little blue, maybe little blue flowers in here, you can certainly do that. Look how cute that looks. Now remember, the dark, the farther they go, right, the lighter they get. So, anyway. I think what I'm going to do is add just a little bit. I'm going to take my liner brush and I think I'll add just a little bit of the, put medium on it. And I think I'll add, out of this mixture up here, this, where I've hit the brush. Anyway, just a little color here on this side of this tree trunk. Now this is pretty, you don't have to do this if you don't want to, but I just like to add a little help with my, if you put it on the right side of your tree, remember, because that's where the sun's coming up. That's where the sun's hitting it. You can actually take and just put little dabs of white on it. So, you know, to show that that's the, that's the side of the tree here. I hope you can see that. And again on this one here, just a little bit of white. And on this one. And you always want to highlight, you know, put a little highlight to these trees. These over here are still in the shadow. Okay, and I think what I'll do is I think I'll go into this blue here. Actually, that's not going to show up, but anyway, add a little more texture to these mountains up here. But that's it. So I hope you've enjoyed this painting. Now, I guess the next thing you want to do is, by all means, you know, let me show you how to do this. This is one more thing before I know we never used half of our colors, but as we get into bigger paintings and things, we'll start using more of these reds and things like that, and I'll show you the color mixing technique. That is really, really fun, how to mix colors and things. So, and don't be afraid to try it. Don't be afraid to do anything, you know, as far as that goes. If you want to, you can make a little, like a little path that goes from here. You know, that's up to you if you want to make a little path that looks like it's going back in here. Or maybe there. So, it doesn't matter, just whatever you want to do. I thought that just needed like a little path to get over here to this little peninsula. Now, if you want to sign your painting, put a little medium, or quite a bit of medium, and you choose whichever color you want to choose. I usually do mine in a reddish orange, but since I've got, and let me tell you something, the reason I do a lot of paintings with a lot of green, because I love landscape paintings. So the green and the red, they complement each other, and that's pretty much why I use the red. Now, when I'm painting something else, you know, I try to use I look at my painting, I'm thinking, okay, what is the most color that I've got in here? And then I choose that complementary color that goes with it. If my painting's purple or blue, I try to use a yellow or an orange to sign my painting in. And I try to paint it where, you know, I can see it, people can see it, but it's not overpowering. So if you take just, I'm going to say just a little bit of, I think I'll use the Cad Red here, and I will get a little bit out, and then I'll wet my rigger brush really good. See, I mean, it's like a little bit more pigment power. And remember what I told you, to always bring it out like this right here. When you're mixing like this, I always bring it out to a point, just like this, when you roll off of it. And then just take and sign your painting. Well, I usually just like I'm using a pencil, and I just don't have enough on there, excuse me, so try it again.